All right, I'm gonna try a new. I'm gonna try a thing that I guess I'm gonna call Dead Media Rants and Frequently Asked Questions, Rants and Facts. Um, just kind of going off on something that maybe people message me about regularly, or customers, and when they're making inquiries, wonder about this or that and stuff, or just stuff of that nature. Let's see. I wrote down, and I'm not like a video editor person, so this is going to be like a one shot thing that is hopefully entertaining to some degree, whether it's just terrible or annoying, and that's your flavor, or is actually interesting, you know. Um, so I'm just gonna do that. Let me see here. Okay, so I wrote down some things that I thought might be good subjects to talk about. Just pick one for today. How about 8-track pricing? So 8-track pricing. I don't worry about it too much anymore. As far as what I charge to make 8 tracks. When I first, I don't know, a couple years ago and back, I used to be more apprehensive about, what people thought of my rates, or, like what the rates are for making 8 tracks. But, people have pretty much, gone from, from what I would experience is them, thinking like, oh my gosh, the brand new 8 tracks are so expensive. They're $30 or $40 or whatever. To just people kind of like not mentioning it anymore, which is cool. But occasionally it does come up. Somebody's just, I'll take a message from one customer, and they'll be like, I'll give them my rates, and they'll be like, oh wow, that's so awesome and reasonable. I'm like, oh wow, I mean, me 2 or 3 years ago would not have been expecting that. But then I'll get another message, and I'll send the rates, and they'll be like, oh my god, this is so expensive. Where do you get off doing this? Well, I guess I'll tell you where I get off doing it. The bottom line is labor cost. It's the infrastructure that used to exist for making 8 tracks no longer does, which I'll talk about in a second. So it's all by hand, done by hand. It's a manual process. Of course, I have the assistance of the 8-track recorders. But yeah, it takes a while to make one. And especially if I'm making a custom one-off, I'll spend between 6 and 8 hours on one tape. So it's I mean, you do the math there. It's like you just ask yourself, what's your time worth? I mean, would you when you're at your job making money to pay your bills, what how much do you need per hour? Well, if you do the math, then you quickly realize that you're making more money than I am. But there's it works out in different ways. Because it's like, holy shit, so he's making less than minimum wage. Well, there's, like I said, there's other ways it works out. Like, I might do one custom 8-track for transfer for one customer, and that might be the only person that orders it. Then I'll do another one, and it's a more popular album. Maybe 5 people want it, or 3 people want their CDs transferred to 8-track, and so the initial setup work I've done kind of evens out a little bit, in those cases. So basically, it's not it's not like absolutely terrible, but that is a thing. So very labor and time intensive, making 8 tracks. So that's why the rates are higher. Cassette duplicating cassettes is a different story. They still, you have these machines that just do it at high speed, and can do several at a time. And I can do several at a time, but getting to the point of that, like prepping the tape, stripping the label off, so it's and cleaning it and polishing it so it looks brand new, where it used to be Statler Brothers tape with the label ripped off or whatever. It takes time and making it look good. I mean, some people will just slap a label over another label. That's pretty punk rock. And yeah, I mean, I guess you could charge less if you cut corners. Which I don't do. 'Cause I mean, I have OCD, and my OCD does not allow me to cut corners like that. Slapping a label over another label. I mean, most people customers wouldn't complain, but the fact that I know that there's like a bunch of razor blade marks underneath the label, or someone trying to get it off really crudely or whatever, that's that just doesn't work. If it doesn't look fresh, then I'm not happy about it. Sometimes I have to live with a certain amount of little flaws underneath, but not usually. God damn it, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, it just takes time. I mean, and the label design, is a it takes a long time to do. I mean, oh well, why don't you spend less time? Yeah, I mean, well, arguably, I haven't, well, I don't know. People comment that my label designs are of a certain quality, and so I guess that takes some fine tuning and nitpicking that maybe. Somebody using a low-res image off Discogs and just kind of slapping things here and there, doesn't take much time. But I can't live with that. Anyway, so there's that. Now back to the old ways they used to do it with mechanized assistance, in the 70s and all that. So in 1975, an average 8-track was $7. Adjust that for inflation in 2021, that's $35, which is right in the range of what a new 8-track should cost. So there's nothing wrong with charging that, and it makes sense with the labor, and so this is my job. I don't have some other kind of career path that allows me to just do this for a charity or shits and giggles. It's just I'm paying bills with it, so that's what I have to charge, and that's what's fair. So and I think that me doing this, and getting to a certain level with it, has made people comfortable with the fact that that's how much new 8-tracks cost. Whether you're getting a custom job, one-off done, you're going to pay that much. Or if you're a band and wanting, a bunch of copies done, then, it's a lot less because, you're getting numerous copies. But, still it adjusts for, what you end up pricing, what a band would end up pricing it at. They should be pricing it between $30 and $40. If they're not, then they're either doing a charity, they're cutting corners, or doing favors, but mainly confusing the public about what 8-track rates should be. They shouldn't be less than $30, or maybe $25 at the most, or at the least, for a new tape, because that just doesn't make sense economically. And like I said, with 1975, adjustment with inflation. So let's see, anything else to say about that? Yeah, I mean, everybody seems pretty comfortable with that, and that's good, because you should be comfortable paying that much for a new 8-track. I mean, this is not a 25-cent find at an antique store, That's how much, I have to keep my materials costs low just so I don't have to charge more for 8-track services, which the labor is higher. Anyway, sure, I forgot a couple things I would like to say, but that's it for now.